Hey YouTubers, here we are with another painting session, but this time I'm using water mixable oils. Now just a little bit of thing about water mixable oils, depending on the brand, I've used quite a few of them such as Cobra, Winsor&Newton, Artisan, and even the Georgians. Now my two preferred ones so far were the Cobras, water mixable oils, and the Artisan from Winsor&Newton. Now the only problem that I had before with water mixable oil, although very convenient to be able to just clean with water and not have to use any kind of solvents, was that you could just use water to clean the brushes and also thin your paints. Well, I've tried those before, but the only problem is that I've received was that the paint would stay tacky once it was completed for a very long time and would not dry. Well, it would eventually dry, but it would take longer than what a traditional oil painting would take to dry. So I had someone post a comment that she's been using water mixable oils for a very long time and had similar problem until she switched up what she was doing. So even though water mixable oils, it says that you could use water as a medium. At least some brands claim such a claim that you can just use water and paint. Well, the thing is you just can't do that because I think the water gets trapped under the oil and just not evaporating quick enough, and the paint is not oxidizing, meaning and drying as fast as it should. So the thing to solve, how that was solved, was just use the water to clean your brush, and when you clean your brush, wipe your brush off really good. Okay, so you could start your initial painting. They sell thinners, water mixable thinners, of course, which you could use as your turpentine to start your initial painting, and then subsequent layers just use the linseed oil as you would just use water mixable. Let me repeat that: water mixable linseed oil, as you would do in traditional oil painting. That seemed to have remedied my issue. I'm still waiting for my painting to dry, but it's not taking as long. I feel like it's working a little bit faster than what it was before, and I'm really happy about that. And I think that poster, I'm trying to find her name, but and it's been working out. I mean, it's really convenient to not have to deal with solvents or anything like that and just use water to clean your brush. Just make sure when you clean your brush, you use I use pretty much a dish soap, like Dawn dish soap, because you think that you've cleaned your brush and no more paint's coming off. No, there's still paint on your brush and coming out of the ferrule, and so you need to clean all that really good for your next session. So after testing out two paintings, so far seems like the matter has resolved and the paint is not staying tacky as it used to before. Now remember, you want to use water mixable thinner and water mixable linseed oil. You cannot use the linseed oil or traditional thinner, because then that just pretty much defeats the whole purpose. So it has to be a water mixable solution to use for your painting. Now, as far as the brand that I would prefer, and I am not being paid for this or whatsoever, all the paints that I'm using are pretty much paid for by myself. So I've just tried a whole different brand. The only two so far that stand out to me, and one that I haven't tried but eventually will try, but the two that stand out to me right now, my number one would be Cobra. Cobra has a very creamy consistency and lays down like really nice. I would almost compare Cobra to Gamblin. If you ever use Gamblin, Cobra has the same texture to their paint, very like buttery and creamy, and spreads very, very well. Now, as far as pigmentation, Cobra again has very good pigmentation. Although I did hear Holbein makes a good water mixable paint. I haven't had a chance to use them yet. The only problem that I had with Holbein that stopped me from buying them is the fact that their light fastness. I'm not able to find any literature on how light fast their paints are, although I heard they're really good and really stand up, but there's no literature about light fastness as opposed to Cobra. Winsor&Newton is my second choice. Now, the consistency of that paint is a little bit thicker. Okay, it would be the same thickness as what you would get from using Winsor&Newton paints such as Winton and such. But they're very well pigmented, just a little bit stiffer. So I would suggest you use linseed oil inside those paints to add it to your paint in order to make it flow a little bit easier, because they're a little bit thick there in consistency, but very well pigmented. And so I mean, there are ways around this tackiness. So like I just listed, just use your first layer. Even if you want to use just water for your first layer as your thinner. Now, if you use water as your thinner, the water will dry a lot faster than if you use your regular water mixable paint thinner. Now, the only thing I would do if you're going to just use water is to let that paint, that first layer, dry thoroughly, which within half an hour, that first layer is going to dry. Okay. Now, if you don't want to use just water for your first layer of painting, then use the water mixable thinner, and you could also add a drying agent. They sell drying agents for water mixable thinner, so you could try that in order to have your first layer dry out faster, so you can go on with the subsequent layers. So, and I found that to be a really great thing. So you could pretty much do everything you wanted to do with traditionals you can do with water mixable oils. Like I said, the only problem that I had was, the paint would just stay tacky for a very long time. So I hope this was helpful in the information that I gave you. If you have any questions or other comments that you'd like to leave, please leave them in the comments, and don't forget to like and share to help me continue doing these videos for you. And perhaps I will do a demo on water mixable oils for you in the near future, which I'll show you step by step the products that I use and how I use the medium. So I hope you guys have a great day, and thank you very much for watching. Like I said, like and subscribe, and have a great day.